So here's a quick question for you animation fans out there. Take a look at this shot. What do you see? Are you sure? Keep watching. Want to change your answer? How about now? The opening shot of Fiant tells you pretty much all you need to know about the subject of this video, Jonathan Djob Nkondo. Jonathan Djob. Give me a minute.
Jonathan Djob Nkondo. Jonathan Djob Nkondo.
Jonathan Djob Nkondo. Or whatever. I'm gonna call him JDN for short, or else I promise you I am never gonna get through this recording session. JDN is one of the many freelance animators whose work you'll occasionally find featured on Vimeo and other too cool for school cartoonist blogs. This is him, by the way. Anyway, like a lot of people, I was originally turned on to JDN's work earlier this year when his short film The Last Exhibition started making its rounds on social media. JDN's animation is, well, it's just unlike anything you've ever seen. There's just no comparison. Here's a few seconds from the short in question. Pretty sweet, right? Alright, now do me a favor, pause this video, follow the link in the description, and go watch the rest of the short, and then come back. Actually, you know what? Go watch all of these shorts by JDN and then come back. I'm not going anywhere, I promise. Alright, done? Great. So let's talk about his work. JDN shorts have an aesthetic that's almost impossible to describe, but instantly understandable when you see it. A style that you just can't mimic in live action. And it seems to focus heavily on three main aspects, namely his use of minimalism, geometry, and transitions. So let's break it down piece by piece. First, one of the main things that sticks out is that JDN's work is as uncluttered as possible. He strips away everything but the necessities, so there's no dialogue, no character names, no exposition. Those things aren't really needed to convey the ideas behind each piece. Music is either absent or lo-fi, and shots rarely use more than 3 or 4 colors. There's a benefit to this. The lack of on-screen noise actually amplifies every visual choice he makes. In an image so incredibly simple, every detail matters. Even the empty space matters. JDN's not a fan of images that contain irrelevant information. I mean, take a look at this. There's not a single pen stroke in this shot that you don't need. Here's an art experiment for you. Grab a pen and paper, it'll only take about 60 seconds, promise. Ready? Great. Here's the prompt. Draw me a pair of glasses sitting on a table. Don't worry, I'll wait. Finished? Great. Now, riddle me this. How many pen strokes did you use? I actually ran this experiment with a group of friends. Here's the tally. Maybe you used more than them, maybe you used less, but check this out. Here's a shot from JDN's Dark Day Part 1, glasses sitting on a table. 8 lines. How about this shot of the window of a high-rise building? 7. A staircase? 2. Each of these shots are able to be drawn in seconds, yet each one feels as if intense planning was done to put them on screen. Every pen stroke of JDN is purposeful. One of the best tricks in his toolbox is his ability to let color and shading give his simplistic images a sense of depth. You get a sense of this if you take those things away. If you want an example of minimalism done right, you can't go wrong with Dark Day. But let's forget about pen strokes and talk about shapes, because JDN's work is full of them. It's almost like a recurring theme. As an artist, JDN comes off as a mathematician more than a doodler. He puts far more thought into points, lines, angles, and figures than most any animator I know, and specifically how those things affect the space of the scene. I experimented with geometry myself for the first half or so of 2014. I was trying to incorporate basic primitives in unusual ways. I didn't really discover anything useful, but Nkondo seems to have mastered the art. And it's a good art to master, because unlike live action, animation is all about shapes. And JDN's work addresses the subject directly. His films are abstract in nature, so it allows him to experiment in an abstract way without having to give an excuse as to why. He uses shapes to establish a structure for each piece, and then hacks that geometry throughout the progression of the story, twisting that structure every which way, inside and out. The shapes often are the story. Which leads us to the third unique thing about his work, and it's usually the first thing that pops out to somebody: how he transitions between his shots. Most films use the regular tools of the trade. You've got your basic cut, your fade, your dissolve, your wipe, occasionally the dia, that's all folks iris, but what exactly do you call this? Seriously, what do you call that? You guys have a term for it? I'm just gonna call it the Nkondo cut, because as far as I know, he's the pioneer of it. Just watch the first exhibition. See how he seamlessly turns simple background shapes into complex props that the characters actually have to interact with. The transition is a prop in and of itself. It's the floor, it's a ledge, it's the background, all inside 2 seconds. There's really no way to describe this kind of transition. In fact, how does he do it? Let's slow it down. Understand it any better now? Yeah, me neither. See, JDN shorts aren't just stories, they're explorations of how we use animation. Some films are shot to be played in theaters. Some are made for the TV screen, some are made for cell phones. In Nkondo's work, one of the things I love about it is that it feels like it was made to be seen in an art gallery. That's what makes him different, and that's why I want you to check him out. See, regardless of how lucrative it might be for me to examine popular culture on this channel, I've always preferred taking a critical look at stuff on the fringe. Because the boundaries are pushed in obscurity by artists and storytellers that most people have never heard of. I sincerely doubt Nkondo will ever reach mainstream notoriety like any of these guys, but I'm almost certain that the techniques he's playing with eventually will. Yes, that probably makes me sound like a pretentious hipster, I don't care. I'm not saying all mainstream artists and storytellers are hacks. I am saying there are plenty of brilliant storytellers whose work continually remains in relative anonymity. And maybe, just maybe, word of mouth can change that. So consider this a recommendation. That's all I've got for this week. Thanks for watching. If you want to like the video or subscribe or share, yeah, you know the drill. Or don't. I don't really care.